Hey guys, it's Daniel with All About Food. I have been reading a lot of hype on the internet and watched a lot of videos about kombucha. Now, I hadn't even really heard of this until it's probably been maybe 6 months ago or so that I first heard about this. Now, I mean, I know about probiotics and all that kind of stuff because I do different fermented foods and stuff that gives probiotics, but I had never actually had kombucha or heard of it until about 6 months ago. I actually had never even tried it until today. I decided that what we was going to do is make a scoby so we can start brewing kombucha, and I wanted to try to see what it tasted like. So when I went to pick up my just original kombucha with no flavoring or anything in it, so we could use it to make a scoby, I picked up a bottle of, I don't really want to show the company name because I don't want to get in trouble for copyright, some kombucha that is pineapple peach flavored. And I had never tried it until today. The pineapple peach flavor is awesome. I really like it. It's carbonated. Of course, kombucha is carbonated. And it almost kind of reminds me of like a wine cooler or something. It's got a tartness to it from where it's fermented. And then, of course, the pineapple peach flavor. So, I'm really excited to get this scoby made and start brewing my own kombucha and try all different kinds of flavors. I will definitely be doing pineapple peach myself because this is really, really good. Now, there were several flavors at the store, but I'm going to try some of the other ones as well just to see which ones I like, and then I'll probably experiment with different flavors here at home too. And you can also add, when you make your kombucha, you can also add herbs and stuff to flavor it with, or you can use different flavored tea bags to flavor it with, but we'll get into all of that later because this, it's going to be a little while. We have to make our scoby, which is pretty much, it's a live bacteria culture. And what it's going to do when you make your kombucha, the sweet tea, you make sweet tea, and then you put your scoby in there. The scoby is, of course, live bacteria and yeast, so it's going to eat away at the sugar, and it's going to create all of these really good probiotics and everything. And like I said, I'll get into all of that stuff when we actually do the video on how to make it and ferment it and all that stuff. So, for this video, we're going to make a scoby. Now, you can order scobies online through Amazon and different things, or if you know someone that makes kombucha, they can probably get you a starter scoby, because each batch that you make will create a new scoby. You're going to put a scoby in each batch that you make, and it's going to also create another scoby for every batch. So a lot of people will take even, the jars like this, and they will take decent scobies and make what's called scoby hotels. That way, if you have one that goes bad or something, or it gets contaminated, you've got extra, so you don't have to start back over by making, a new scoby. So, what you want to do before you do anything is you want to wash and sanitize your glass jar very, very well. It's almost like as if you're going to can vegetables or fruit or something. This needs to be sterilized. So you want to make sure you keep your hands washed. Also with this, kombucha is acidic, so you do not want to use plastic whatsoever. For the spoon, use a wooden spoon. So anyways, once you get your jar washed really well and sterilized, and this is to just make the scoby, we're going to take 4 cups of water and bring it to a boil. You do not want to use tap water because of all the chemicals and different things that's in the tap water. You want to use filtered water, distilled water, something like that. So you take 4 cups of your water, bring it to a boil, and make, I use 2 tea bags. You could use more if you want, but this is just to make the scoby to get started. So 4 cups of water to make the tea, 1/3 cup of sugar dissolved in your tea water. You're going to let it come down completely to room temperature, because if you add your kombucha, which this is just plain kombucha, and it's got there's a piece of the mother or scoby. It's also called the mother in here, and I don't know if you can see it right here. Kind of looks like a glob of booger or something. I know that sounds gross, but it looks funky. So if you put this in with hot tea, it's going to kill all the live bacteria that's in here, and you're not going to be able to form a scoby. So now what we're going to do is, once that comes to room temperature, I let this come to room temperature as well. We're going to open this very carefully, because remember, it is carbonated. Okay. Now, that scoby floated to the top, and I think you can see it right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to carefully take our room temperature tea, and we're going to pour this whole bottle of just original plain kombucha in with our tea. Now, there is still some good bacteria that's got down here on the bottom, so I am going to put just a pinch of water in this to swirl it around, because I want all of that inside this tea for our scoby. Okay, I got me just enough water to swirl around in there and get the rest of that bacteria and everything in there. Okay, so we've got that in there. Now, I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me see if I can. Right here is that piece of mother or scoby or whatever you want to call it that's had started to form in there. Now, we're going to cover this up with a coffee filter, a piece of cloth, or something. You just want to be careful. If you're using like paper towel or something like that, you just have to be very careful that none of the like loose paper that like flakes off a paper towel sometimes, you don't want any of that to get down in here, because that's going to contaminate this and it's going to be no good. So What we're going to do is we're going to cover this up with coffee filter and put a rubber band around it or something to tie it around with. I'm not even sure if I have a rubber band, so I may have to find something to tie it with. And we're going to put this in a dark place or someplace out of direct sunlight, and you're going to not disturb this and just let it set. It could take from 2 weeks, it could take 5 weeks. It all depends on the temperature and all that. So they said once it gets the scoby, you'll see it, it'll form on the top of this, and I'll show you once it gets done. It's going to form on the top of this, and it's going to be able to be used when it's about 1/4 of an inch thick, they said. And it's going to kind of look like a flat pancake type thing, white to brownish color. And you'll know if it goes bad or if it's started growing mold or something. It shouldn't, as long as you do everything to sanitize this, keep your hands completely clean, it should be fine. The scoby, once it's formed and ready to use, we will be back and I will show you what it looks like and how to actually make the kombucha. So I'm going to put this in a dark place, someplace that's not too awfully cool, and we're just going to let it sit and look at it day by day and see when it's ready to go. So as soon as the scoby's formed in this, I will be back to show everyone what that looks like.